Welcome to Movie Mind, where we bring you the most powerful stories from cinema, told in just minutes. Today, we dive into the unforgettable classic, The Shawshank Redemption.
In a world where hope seems lost, one man finds the strength to endure the unthinkable. Today, we dive into the timeless story of friendship, freedom, and the human spirit. Welcome to The Shawshank Redemption, a tale that reminds us why hope is the most powerful thing of all. Our story begins in 1947. Andy Dufresne, a successful young banker, is accused of murdering his wife and her lover. In court, the evidence is stacked against him. The jury believes his calm, emotionless face means guilt. Despite his pleas of innocence, Andy is sentenced to 2 life terms at Shawshank State Penitentiary. Andy arrives at Shawshank Prison, a massive gray fortress of stone walls and iron gates. The new inmates are immediately dehumanized, stripped, and marched inside. Among them, Andy stands quiet, dignified, yet isolated. Ellis Boyd Red Redding, a longtime inmate, watches him with curiosity from the prison yard. Shawshank is a brutal place. Guards beat inmates, and violence lurks around every corner. Andy, soft-spoken and reserved, becomes a target of harassment, especially from a group called the Sisters. Yet he never loses his quiet strength. Red, who is known as the man who can get things, begins to take notice. Red is the narrator of our story, a man serving a life sentence, resigned to prison life. When Andy approaches him, asking for a small rock hammer, Red is intrigued. Unlike other prisoners, Andy has a quiet dignity. Their friendship grows slowly, built on respect and trust, something rare within Shawshank's walls. One day, prisoners are assigned to tar the roof. Andy overhears a guard complaining about taxes. Using his banker's knowledge, Andy offers financial advice, legally saving the guard thousands. At first, the men think he's crazy, but the guard agrees. In return, Andy asks only that his fellow inmates get cold beers on the roof. For the first time, the men see Andy as more than just another prisoner. Andy soon finds purpose. He begins working in the prison library, helping fellow inmates study and earn diplomas. He writes letters to the state government for funding, week after week. For years, he is ignored, until suddenly, boxes of books and donations arrive. Slowly, Andy builds the best prison library in New England. But Andy's talents don't go unnoticed. The corrupt Warden Norton sees an opportunity. He forces Andy to handle his money laundering scheme, using fake identities to hide illegal profits. Andy becomes the warden's indispensable man, even as he remains trapped in Shawshank's walls. When an elderly inmate, Brooks, is finally paroled after 50 years, the men expect him to celebrate. But life outside has changed. Unable to adapt, Brooks takes his own life. The tragedy shakes the prisoners, and shows just how deeply prison walls can imprison the mind. Years later, a young inmate named Tommy arrives. He reveals that he once shared a cell with the real killer who framed Andy. At last, Andy has proof of his innocence. But when he tells the warden, Norton silences him, arranging Tommy's murder to protect his own scheme. Andy is devastated, yet he hides his pain. Not long after, Andy speaks to Red one final time about hope and a place in Mexico called Zihuatanejo. That night, during a fierce storm, Andy vanishes from his cell. The guards panic. The warden discovers a tunnel dug through 2 decades, hidden behind Rita Hayworth's poster. Andy has escaped Shawshank. Andy didn't just escape. He exposed the warden's corruption, mailing evidence to the press. Police arrive at Shawshank, and Warden Norton, cornered by justice, takes his own life. Andy disappears to Mexico, free at last.
Years later, Red is finally granted parole. Old, weary, but carrying Andy's words of hope, he sets out to find his friend. He travels to Mexico, where Andy waits on a sunlit beach. At last, their friendship is free, beyond the walls of Shawshank. From despair to freedom, From loneliness to friendship, The Shawshank Redemption shows us that even in the darkest places, hope can set us free. If you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more unforgettable stories.